Hi and welcome to a Destiny Success Incorporated program. I am your host, Reverend Walter Mumbazi, and we're looking at video number 3, Types of Businesses, a detailed breakdown of various business models in Zambia. Do remember that you are downloading this from the millionairesinmotion.net website, as you can see there, and this is going to take you through the nitty-gritties of exactly how you can get started and run with this. Now, we do a recap of the previous video. We remember that we learned about why you should be in business. We looked at what type of business that you could get into. We also looked at how to register and start your business right here in Zambia, and that was quite a detailed program where we looked at the ZRA, the NAPSA, as well as the PACRA procedures, and we finished by looking at the regulators themselves and how these regulatory bodies are able to help you to comply and meet all the necessary conditions for you to get started. But right now we are going to be sinking into the bigger part of this, and we're going to be looking at exactly how we can get a business plan going. And with the business plan, we need to know why first of all. Now, the first thing is it helps you articulate your business and your vision. It also helps you to place yourself in the marketplace strategically. But apart from this, if you need startup capital, banks and financiers will need to see your business plan, because if they don't see that, my friend, you are not going to get any kind of funding, and it must be a thoroughly written document explaining every aspect of your business. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be looking at the outline or overview of exactly what a business plan contains. So let's all get our pens and papers, young ladies and gentlemen and everybody out there, let's get running. So the first part is the executive summary. It appears first, it's written last, it summarizes the key elements of the entire business plan, because this is basically what helps you to understand what it's all about. But apart from that, we've got the industry. This deals with exactly an overview of a sector which you want to run in. It includes, but is not limited to, the trends in your industry, the major players, and the estimated sales that you need to have, as well as a summary of the business's place within this sector. So this is a very important part, because you need to define clearly where you plan to get into. Another area that's cardinal is the market analysis. Now, this is an examination of the primary target market for your product or service. It includes, but is not limited to, the geographic location, the demographics, which is about the people themselves, the age range and such details, your target market's needs, and how these needs are being met currently in your business. Apart from that, we're going to have a look at a competitive analysis, and this is an investigation of your direct and indirect competitors. So if you have some competitors or people that you think and perceive will be a competition for you, you got to outline them there. An assessment of their competitive advantage and an analysis of how you will overcome any entry barriers to your chosen market. Then there's the marketing plan. Now, with the marketing plan, it is a detailed explanation of course, your sales strategy, how you're going to sell your products, a pricing plan, a proposed advertising and promotion activities, as well as product or service benefits. Now, you know, it's very important that you realize that this must not miss. Now, remember to also have a management plan, and remember, only a few things are better than a good plan. Now, it's an outline of your business's legal structure and management resources. It includes, but is not limited to, your internal management team, your external management resources, and your human resources needs. This really does break down in a big way what is needed in your business plan. And now, another aspect that we need to look at also in this plan is the operating plan. Now, this describes your business's physical location, the facilities and equipment you have, the kinds of employees that are needed, the inventory requirements and supplies, and any other applicable operating details, such as a description of the manufacturing process if you are going to be doing a manufacturing business. So obviously here in this case, we're looking at any kind of situation, provided you're giving a detailed breakdown of precisely what you will be doing in your business. Now, we also have the financial plan. This is a very important part, and I'm sure every one of you watching this agrees. It's a description of your funding requirements, a detailed financial statement, and financial statement analysis. Now listen to me, this is extremely important, especially the detailed financial statement, because that's one which has your income and your expenditure. And somebody's probably asking and saying, hey Rev, but we don't have a business, so how are we going to have this? Well, the truth is, if you're going to be looking for a financier, they want to see, they want to hear that you have the money, that you are earning some kind of money, because they don't want any theories there. They want some proof that your business is viable and people are paying for your service or your product. So you need to have this, and you need to start keeping these things early enough so that when you do want to get financing in future, it's very easy to run with that. And of course, you're going to need appendices and exhibits of any additional information that will help establish the credibility of your business idea. This can include, but is not limited to, marketing studies, photographs of your product or services, as well as contracts or any other legal agreements pertinent to your business. This is extremely important, because if you want to run a business that makes sense, you got to have these. Now, types of businesses. We've got startups, which is what we talked about earlier on. You could choose to buy an existing business, or you could go the franchising route. Each one of these has an advantage, which is clearly explained in the previous video. Now let's look at the startup. Let's look at the types we're going to be studying today, and we're going to be doing a cost analysis of each one of these startups. Now, we've got the trading option, where you could be looking at buying and selling or retail. We'll also be looking at manufacturing, specifically a peanut butter factory, and here we're talking about a small scale peanut butter factory. Then we've got the service provision. Maybe you want to go as a consultant in a consultancy firm, maybe a lawyer, maybe an accountant, maybe a business advisor, whatever it is. These are the startups we'll look at, and we'll look at each one and precisely how much they'll cost you. So let's start with the first one, which is a trader or a supplier, who is a buying and selling person or a retailer of a small level type. Now, what are your startup costs? There you go. There's registration and compliance, that's 500,000. Then we've got the stock, that's a 10 million. Then we've got overheads, which include the shop itself, optional, that's 2 million. We've got inventory, 5 million, and we've got operations of 3.5 million. Now, I need to explain all these so that you understand. When we look at the overheads, the shop is very important. The stock is the actual products themselves. Maybe it's clothes, maybe it's shoes or whatever. And then on inventory, we're talking about the table, the chairs, the telephone, the computer if you have one. And you can already see just by looking at these that already our pricing is way below what it will cost you. Operations, which include your worker that you pay for, and of course marketing and advertising, another 1 million. So what's the grand cost? There you have it, 22 million for a typical small little setup that's not even worth talking about, and you're looking at a grand total of not less than 22 million or thereabout just to get started. Alright, so continuing with the startup, we look at the next option, and we're looking at manufacturing. As we say, we'll look at a small peanut butter factory and look at the startup costs and see exactly what that will cost us. Now, we have registration and compliance, and we're looking at a grand total of 10 million kwacha. And I need to mention that this is not just PACRA. You got the Environmental Council of Zambia and a lot of other issues that you have to comply with. And I will tell you this, a lot of manufacturers want to do shortcuts and go around this and not comply and not meet all the various regulations. I can tell you, unless you're planning to do a short-term business and you want to stand a risk of losing in terms of them coming to break down your factory like the Tujili manufacturers, you don't want to go that route. You want to make sure you comply. You want to make sure you go with all the rules and regulations, because then that helps you. Then you got your raw materials. You're looking at a grand cool total of 30 million kwacha, which is quite a bit of money. Then we have the overheads, which include, but are not limited to, the machinery. That's 100 million kwacha. That includes all the stuff that you use for setting up and building and getting your products ready and manufactured. You know, all the casing bottles, all the peanut butter mixing equipment, all the branding stuff, all the gluing, all the sealing. And you do remember that even on registration and compliance, you got Zambia Bureau of Standards and a lot of other issues that you have to comply with. You might want to sell your products through ShopRite, so you need to get a barcode and all sorts of things. It can be pretty expensive. You got also the inventory itself. Now this is a big setup here, so we're looking at 30 million minimum, operations of another 10 million kwacha. That includes all the workers that you might hire. You might not hire many, maybe 2, 3, 4 people, but it'll still need a couple of experts, and they don't come cheap. And then you got the marketing and distribution, which will cost you quite a bit, because you got to get all those peanut butter bowls around and get them to all the various potential customers. So we're looking at quite a big cost. So what is our total here? Well, with the manufacturing company, it's a grand total of 195 million kwacha, which is not small by any standards. And let me tell you something to all of you watching this. This is nowhere near your typical manufacturing of like the biscuits companies we see around, or the detergent companies we're seeing around. Those are in the billions, my friends. This is a very small little simple setup of less than $100,000. This is really small by any standards, but it's 195 million kwacha. Now we got the other option. Maybe we could go with a service provision. Maybe you want to run a consultancy firm, an accountancy firm, some kind of accounting firm or whatever. And here we have it. Registration and compliance won't be too much, just 2 million. We've got overheads, which include your office. Now you want to make your office look nice and welcoming, so 4 million there. And you want to have a good set of inventory, some good nice looking furniture. You don't want them coming and sitting on, broken and torn down couches and the like. That's going to chase away all your customers. Then you want to have some good operations on the table, at least a serious assistant there for you, and marketing. Now it's so interesting that the marketing is very little when it comes to consultancy, because with consultancy it's always about word of mouth. It's about the people you know. Now the previous track record cannot be costed, because this is so tricky. This has a lot to do with who you know and who you work for and what works you did in the past. So it's inconsolable, it's incompatible. We cannot put a price to this. It's something that you just have to cost without putting any price to it. So it's priceless. And what's our grand total for a typical consultancy firm? 19 million kwacha. Can you believe that? 19 million kwacha for a small little accounting firm to get running. So you can see that it does cost quite a bit. On the other hand, we could choose to buy an existing business instead, which logically speaking is a far better option. First of all, there's the added benefits of being an established business. You overcome all the startup challenges which we just faced before. It's generating profits, obviously. The fact that you want to buy it, why would you want to buy it if it isn't generating profits? And has existing clients. So there is a guaranteed cash flow when it comes to an existing business. But what kind of figures are we looking at here? Well, we're talking about a minimum of about 50 million all the way up to 1 billion kwacha to buy yourself an existing business. So well, unless you got a lot of cash ready, you wouldn't even be watching this video. Right, so the other option is to buy a franchise, which is, in my opinion, the far best option out of all these options, because you are going to be buying an existing and established business which has got a reputation, which has got a brand that is readily recognizable, like the one you're looking at here, and it has an established and existing system in place. Because I can tell you what makes a business tick. It's the systems, my friend. It is the systems. If you don't have systems, you do not run a business. So let's look at a typical startup cost for this kind of business. Well, you got to buy the price, which is 1.5 billion kwacha just to buy the franchise we're looking at here. Then there's the training, which is another 100 million kwacha just to get all your members of staff, including you, the owner, trained on how exactly to run efficiently the system that they have. Because remember, you are actually buying a system when you buy a franchise. Then you got the stock itself for 20 million. You got the marketing and advertising, which is 20 million to let people know that this shop is existing around the corner. Then there's the operations themselves, the number of members of staff you have in there, about a cool 10 million, depends on the size. It might even be 20, 30 million. Then we've got the overheads of about 10 million again, because you got all the computers, you got all the stuff that you have to use, because these guys are not doing any shortcuts. You got to go and purchase a high cost level, very, very effective, efficient, fully functional system, and that can cost quite a bit. In fact, the 10 million is just a gross understatement. In the 1.5 billion, you will actually be buying the whole inventory online system, as well as the computerized system for orders and whatever. So what's the grand total of this? Over 1.5 billion kwacha just to get yourself a franchise like this one here going. So you can see that it's not easy. But anyway, let's look at the 10 greatest challenges that face you and the real outlook that's going on when it comes to business. Now, according to a Harvard study, this is what they say. All else equal, a venture capital-backed entrepreneur who succeeds in a venture, by which the definition here is to start a company that goes public, has a 30% chance of succeeding in their first venture or next venture. By contrast, first-time entrepreneurs only have an 18% chance of succeeding, and entrepreneurs who previously failed have a 20% chance of succeeding. Can you believe that? Again, on the real outlook from Packer, this is what they say: 9 out of every 10 new businesses fail and close shop within 5 years of commencement. Worse still, of the one that succeeds, another 9 will fail in the next 5 years, leaving only 1 out of 100 businesses flourishing after 10 years. Now, listen to what else is known. The 3 greatest factors that lead to failure in business are lack of a burning desire, lack of knowledge, and lack of cash flow. And these are all internal challenges. Now, this is a really great challenge, and I'm going to show you something else, which is another very great thing to think about. Furthermore, the latter 2, these being lack of knowledge and lack of cash flow, are exacerbated by the 10 greatest internal challenges we can ever imagine. And I said it before: lack of knowledge, lack of cash flow. So let's look at those 10 greatest challenges. Number 1, paperwork. You hate doing it, you hate organizing it, you'd love to throw it out, but you can't decide what you can get rid of or what to keep. Number 2, delegation. You can't trust anyone to do it as well as you. You haven't practiced your delegation skills. It's no surprise when it doesn't go well, justifying your reluctance to delegate. Number 3, well, look at this one here. Guess you know what it is. Perfectionism. Your standards are so high, no one can live up to them, not even yourself. But perfectionism is motivated by fear and masked laziness. You can't be judged if you never finish. And this really is one of the greatest factors why many never even get started. Perfectionism couples itself with another thing I call paralysis through analysis, and you know, when the two go together with the indecision and all the other stuff that goes with it, you are guaranteed to never take off. Number 4, forgetfulness. Poor working memory makes you forget what you're supposed to do. You can remember facts, but appointments, commitments, forget it. You have no diary to speak of, and as a result, you're totally a mess. When you have important appointments, you totally forget that they were even supposed to be done. When it comes to assignments, you forget. When it comes to lodging in returns, you forget, and that is a guaranteed formula for failure. Number 5, as you can tell from the guy leaping, you know what this one is? Impulsive behavior. A person of action, you'd rather move to take action than to take time and think. Now, shooting yourself and asking questions later just leaves a lot of holes you have to fix. You see, you need to learn that sometimes you really have to look before you leap. I know the action is where everything is, but take your time and judge all your movements before you do it. Number 6, projects. Now, the challenge that faces any new project, such as planning, managing, and finishing them on time, start early. The writing of a business plan alone stops many would-be entrepreneurs before they even get started. So you can imagine the value that's in this video, my friends. It is something that you can immediately put to use, because we take you through step by step on how to write your own business plan. Number 7, you guessed right, procrastination, the thief of time. With so many exciting things to do, boring but necessary tasks are the bane of every entrepreneur. Why do today what you can put off until tomorrow? Number 8 is a secret strategy that can stop procrastination dead in its tracks. Number 9. Number 8 actually. Help. Imagine what it is. Getting organized. You're often inconsistent, organized in some areas and disorganized in others. You can't seem to transfer the same skills from one area to another. And number 9, oh, here he is, so sad, so sad. Lack of focus. We have so many brilliant ideas, each one shinier than the next, that your biggest challenge is to pick one and see it through from brainstorm to business. And number 10, you can guess, it's time management. You are chronically late, overcommitted, and still over-promising. How many times, my friends out there, have you known people that will tell you, yes, I'm going to deliver, yes, I'll do it? And small businesses are the biggest culprits of this one. It doesn't pay to overpromise what you can do. You underestimate how long things will take and often scramble to catch up late into the night. Your projects are always way beyond time because you have not done your homework. So these are the 10 greatest challenges, internal challenges facing you. And so, what is your best solution? Well, I can tell you straight up, number one, without question, is a business system. Don't just start a business. Find a proven business system that eliminates all those pesky variables. You can see for yourself, we've been going through a lot of details in how to start businesses and the types of businesses to start. And I can tell you without question, you will see that the biggest challenge is the system. You see, system actually is an acronym that stands for save yourself time, effort, and money. And every great business owner, every great business of any sort is actually run on systems. So when you don't have systems, your business is going to collapse. So you do not just start a business, find a proven system and then run that proven system. And the second factor, which is extremely cardinal, it's so cardinal, I cannot understate it, I cannot overemphasize it enough, it is connect to a mentor. Now, the mentor has the results you aspire to have, so obviously they gotta be somebody worth their salt. They have to be willing to show you the ropes. They could be a professional who advises entrepreneurs for a living, or someone working in a related industry who is willing to help you. So in other words, you're in an industry and they're in the same industry, but they're ahead of you, they're doing very well, and you want to get advice from them. You want to know exactly what to do to run your business well. Apart from that, also with the mentor, they are detached from you and your business, so they are in a position to deliver bad or critical news and advise you straight up. They won't go around doing this. This is something that most friends won't do. Friends will tell you you're doing fine even when you're crashing. Now, they will fill up experience gaps as well as impart wisdom on how to handle specific business challenges in the shortest time possible. This is what Anthony Robbins calls cutting short your learning curve. Instead of you going and taking years to learn and gain the experiences to do things, you cut that short. You do it in a very short time because you refer to mentors. And mentors aren't necessarily people you know personally. These could be people training you. This could even be this video that you're listening to. It's really about just connecting to the material that is being churned out by this mentor through writings, through videos, through audio tapes or whatever, and you are able to tap into their knowledge and follow what they teach. I, for instance, I'm a very great protege and follower of people like Robert Kiyosaki and Napoleon Hill and a lot of other trainers that have trained us in the past, and Anthony Robbins, and the list goes on. So the key here is to find and connect to your mentor. But I can tell you this, in our next video, we're going to be showing you the ultimate business, the ideal business model. We're going to be showing you the ideal business system. We're going to be showing you the ideal mentorship program and the ideal reward system. And all these are going to be combined in what we are calling the ultimate business. Because this business will take all the challenges that you've had in the other videos that have been shown, even in this video, on how to start business, really big time challenges, and it combines them and does them in such an amazing way and gives you a system that can't fail. So here we have it. Bottom line, everything that you need to start a business has been presented to you, my friends. You can go ahead and go using the information I've given you here and go and start your business, or you can turn to the experts. But you know what? Are you willing to be proactive? Are you willing to do what's necessary to bring about change? Do you have the opportunity to do so? Look out for video number 4, The Ultimate Business, where we will show you exactly what we are doing. We have given you all the tools in the first 3 videos. These are good enough for you to go start your business following any of these models. But I can tell you, what we're going to show you in video number 4 is what we all this is going to be broken down to you at the biggest event we've ever arranged in the history of Zambia. Millionaires in the Making, the 90-day challenge on the 9th of November 2012. It'll be a Friday, and this event is only 25,000 kwacha at the government complex starting at 8 o'clock on that day. You don't want to miss, because we're going to be showing you some truly amazing stuff. So this has been a 2012 Destiny Success Incorporated presentation. Your host, Reverend Walter Mombazi, signing out and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care of yourself and happy business building.